Yes.
Thanks, Jane.
All right, perfect. We're so excited to have everybody here with Tech Talks. We're going to talk about Slido today. Eddie's going to present a new polling tool for us. And our group norms, just as a reminder that all skill levels are absolutely welcome. Everybody has something that they can share and contribute to the conversation. So we do encourage you to reach out either over the phone or in the chat box. I'm going to be monitoring that today. And remember to press mute and not hold on your phone to keep the line free of distractions. And we hope you have fun with this. This is kind of something that's in a new direction for us with Tech Talks. And so we hope you enjoy it. Braden's going to announce time at 20 minutes past the hour. And if you remember, we had a monthly challenge that was issued to us. It was to watch a video and become familiar with Slido. And with that, I'm going to have Eddie kind of transition and take it away from there.
Thank you, Jane. So your monthly challenge was to look at a 2-minute video of what is Slido. Now, that 2-minute video described what Slido was, what some of those features were. And as a little test to see if you went through that challenge, we're gonna actually use one of the core features of Slido, which is their word cloud polling. So just a note for this Tech Talk, you're gonna wanna be using your browser and we're gonna be asking you a couple poll questions. So you're gonna be pretty involved throughout the process. You don't have to follow along and try to do everything I'm doing. Just maybe participating as a guest would be better for you. And we'll be recording this so you can always reference kind of the steps that we go through. So to answer this question, what is Slido? I do have a poll question for everyone on here. I'm gonna step out of here for a second. Now, Jane is gonna add the link to the chat that so that you can answer the following question. And the question is gonna be in 1 to 2 words, what is Slido? So Jane's gonna add that to the chat. Now, on your screen, when you get to the desktop, it should look like this. And it's loading up in a minute. So you're gonna have a screen like the following. And here, I'll add it to the chat. I have it right here. So you're gonna go to the link that we've added to the chat, and you're gonna answer this question. In 1 to 2 words, what is Slido? Now, if you didn't see the challenge, it's okay. We can go ahead and, oh, is my screen not sharing? Hold on here. Okay, we're good.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you're gonna go to the following link that we've added to the chat, and you're gonna answer this question: what is Slido? Now, if you didn't watch the video, it's okay. What can you infer from what you have heard about what this platform is? And then once your answers start coming in, on my end as a presenter, I'm gonna present this. So the first response we have here says, did not see the challenge. Someone else is saying, polling the platform. Another person is saying interactive polls, ways to engage attendees. It's a polling mechanism. I'll wait a few more seconds if anybody wants to add a response to there, and then we'll keep going. Someone says it's cool. Okay, cool. So it seems about a quarter of the group has figured out how to use this, and that's great. We're gonna do another poll in a minute. It's a new polling tool. Perfect. Yeah, all of you are right. Slido, I would describe it as a live polling platform. It's really helpful when you have remote and in-person participants, and you're really gonna want to use it when you're doing a live event or presentation. So now that we have a taste of how Slido works, I'm gonna show you how I created this and how you can create your own in the future. Now, I encourage you to observe, but you can also ask questions on the chat and I'll try to clarify them as we're moving along. So we're gonna start from the beginning. If I were starting out as a user, I would just go on Google and type in Slido. It's the first page that comes up on a Google search. Now, I'm gonna actually show you how it looks for new users because I'm actually logged in right now. So let me show you how it looks to new users. So we'll go to Google and we'll go to Slido, and you'll have the option to either log in or sign up for the first time. So when you sign up for the first time, you have a couple options for creating an account. You can use WebEx, you can sign up with Google, or you can use you can create a new login completely. For my demonstration, I went ahead and created an account with Google. Now, I won't go through the process of signing in. It's a traditional login that you would use for using a Google account. Now, once you're logged in, you're going to end up in this kind of page that you use for management. Now, earlier, when I asked you that question about sharing 1 to 2 words about Slido, I had created an event and I had already created a poll earlier. The way I did that though, so that you can kind of see from the beginning how I created that, I'm gonna kind of demonstrate. So I went here to new Slido and I said I wanted to create an event, a new Slido from scratch. Now think about a Slido as an event. So I wrote in here and I kept it simple. I wrote that this was gonna be a Tech Talks and I wanted to call it for July. And this event was happening today, July 22nd. And then it asked me for an event code. And this is anything that you want to write. That's going to be an easy hashtag for your users to remember. So I wrote something called polls. Now it's already taken because again, I already created this earlier, and here it is, so you can see it. Here's the event that I created. You can see it says Tech Talks July 22nd, and the hashtag is polls. And this is the poll that we created earlier, and it has your responses here. This is from the manager's end. But let's try making a new one so that we can so that you can see how then to create a poll. So again, just to kind of make sure we're on the same page, you first create the Slido, which is you create the event, and then within the Slido you create your polls that you're going to be using for that event. So right now I'm going to create a new poll. I'm going to stop this one. That means I'm not going to make it active anymore. And I'm going to create a new poll. And this time you can see that I have multiple choices for creating polls. I'm going to use the multiple choice, which is the one that works really easily. And then for this one, I'm going to come up with a quick question. Now, I cheated and I had a question previously, so I'm just going to enter a question. If you were a superhero, what would you prefer? And you're going to have a couple options: invisibility, flight, and mind control. And now that I've created the question, I can allow for multiple options, but I'm going to make it so that you only have one question that you can answer, and I'm going to save that question. So now that I have my poll created, it's not currently active. I actually have to press play. So that means during a meeting, if I'm ready to actually activate this, is when it would activate it, when you're ready to actually show it for your event. So I'm going to press play now. Now what you can do is you can go back to that same link. We can add it again, that same link that we had earlier, and you can go ahead and participate again and answer this question. And I will wait here to see what all of you respond to. So again, go to that link and answer the question. If you were a superhero, what would you prefer? So far, we have flight as the winner. All right, we have invisibility, flight, and mind control. Invisibility and flight are head-to-head. We have 5 respondents. Invisibility is still winning at 43%. Okay, we have 8 respondents. Anybody else want to add their responses? And if you have any questions, just add it in the chat. I see a question from Tasha, which I'll answer in a moment. Okay, cool. As you're all filling in those in, I'm going to show you a couple features on this page. Now, this page here, you know, we sent you the link directly, but if you are in a public space and you have some of your participants participating publicly, they can snap a picture of this QR code and they can open it up in a browser. So that's one way that they can also access this poll. They can also go directly to slido.com and they can actually just look for that hashtag. And they will also be able to find that poll if they needed to. So they can go here and type in polls and it will bring up that same link. Now, the question that Tasha had was if it can be embedded into a PowerPoint. And I will show that feature at the end of this tech talk of how you can use a PowerPoint for that. It seems like mind control was the winner. So thank you all for those who participated. That's a fun question, I think. Now, one last thing I want to show you. Oh, we have some new responses. We'll see who wins. We have within this page, you can actually adjust the settings. You can create a new poll on the fly. You can deactivate this poll. You can lock the voting. You can also hide the results, or you can show Q&A. Now, I wanna show the Q&A feature. I'm gonna give everyone 10 seconds if you want to add your last response for the superhero, because we're at a tie. Invisibility versus mind control are both at a tie. 6 seconds. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have a tie between the superhero preference for mind control and invisibility. So I'm gonna stop this poll now. Okay, so now let me show you Q&A. Now, Q&A is a way to add questions as you're working through a presentation. And this is a way of kind of the way we're using the Zoom chat, where you can add questions. So for example, well, I'll get to your question right now, Amanda, but thank you for that. So the way you would add questions is you want to go back to the page. Let me go back. You want to go back to the page.
Eddie, we have a question in the chat.
Yes.
What would be the difference between locking the results and stopping it?
So locking the results. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. We can find that out for you, Amanda. I imagine that locking the results just doesn't stop the actual poll, but just make sure that those are the results that you're going to submit with. And stopping the poll prevents anyone from answering. But I'm not completely sure. But that's a good question. And we'll try to get an answer for you. So I wanted to show you the Q&A feature, and it seems like somebody already jumped in. So if you go back to that page, that link that you were here earlier, you can see that we have a Q&A feature. So somebody just asked me, what is the current temperature in SLC? I believe it's about 100 today, or if any of the NEDARC staff knows. And I can see the questions as they come in here. This is the Q&A feature. When you don't have an active poll, it actually directs you to your Q&A feature. But you want to tell your participants that you're actually using the Q&A feature, or else you're not going to see these responses unless you're actively managing it. So you can see that somebody did a check mark here. So that person, I guess, is in Portland. I'm thinking Rachel Ford here. She says that it's a high of 81, Portland, Oregon. And you can always star the question you can add a check mark to the question. And I can, and we can wait for more, if more questions come in. Does anybody else want to add a question to here? And I can show you a different feature. For example, how would you use Slido in your meeting? So that's my question to the group. And if you can answer that here. So for example, I could say, can I add a question? I'm the manager of this, so I have a different screen here, it seems. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions being added. Oh, there we go. So I have one question here. I have two questions here. Would be great for staff meetings, especially for our more introverted team members. What is your favorite color? And how can I use Slido in advisory board meetings? So that's great. Yeah, it's definitely helpful for more introverted members. My favorite color is green. And how can I use Slido in advisory board meetings? I think you can, one way that I thought about that, I can actually try to answer that, is really thinking about the polls that you're going to use in advance so that you can get those ready and have those ready. Not really trying to come up with these questions on the fly. Now, if you answered a question, let's say that we've answered like Rachel's question here. If you click the check mark, you can kind of move it away. So that way, like it's not cluttering up your screen. Now, if you want to highlight a question like, what is your favorite color? You can click that and it brings it to the top. Again, once you have answered that question, you can also check it off. And then you can kind of organize your questions so that if you're only doing QA during a specific time of your presentation, you can also just manage those expectations. So now let's do one more word cloud, and I should show you one additional poll that we can also use. So I'm going to go back to my manager here, and I'm going to create another poll. This one I'll call it a word cloud, and I'll stay with this theme of a superhero, but this time I'm going to choose ranking here. Now, ranking is a way to categorize the most preferred and the least preferred, right, item. So I'm going to add a question here. Why is Utah a perfect place for a superhero? And we can say something like high elevation, makes your lungs stronger. The snow shoveling makes me stronger, or the Four Seasons. I'm just coming up with some random questions here just to show you this feature. And again, until I press play, I won't be able to activate this. So I'm going to press play now, and the questions are going to come up on your screen. Yes, Braden?
You're at 10 minutes left.
Perfect. Okay, so now we have a question that is again active, and it's an active poll. So I like to show if you're presenting this in a live setting, you want to show this so that people can see as the responses come in. So on your responses, how you're gonna be asked to respond. Oop, I can't see it, so I'll let you all respond actually before going into that. That's less confusing. So we have 5 responses, and those, everyone's answering between these 3 choices and selecting their preferences from 1 to 3. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to let this run while I show you a different feature, and then we'll come back and check this one so that if anyone wants to add any of those responses, you can. There's two things that I want to show you before we close out today. I want to make sure we get to those. So then while people are responding to that, there is a section here where you can manage the analytics for your event. Now, the analytics are really helpful if you want to share how your engagement was for that meeting and how those responses would look. Now, we've been using the free version, so this export functionality does not work with the free version, but you can always go to the infographics here, and what it does, it creates a shareable URL that you can share with any of your stakeholders. Or you can also print this and print it as a PDF, save it as a PDF, and you can also send that as an email to your users. And this would be after post event, right? After your meeting is over. Again, the way you create that is you go to infographics under analytics, and you can take that link and save it out. And it's a public link, so you can share it with anybody. I think you can also make it a closed link, but it's a public link and you can share it with anyone. And you can share it to the different social media platforms if you really wanted to. And you can see here all the responses that we've shared so far today. Now, earlier, Renee asked about integrating with PowerPoint. Now, let's take a quick look where we're at. Okay, it looks like snow shoveling is like the perfect place, why Utah is a perfect place to be a superhero. So let me show you, and let me see if we have any Q&A. Oh, it's the same questions that we had earlier. Okay, great. So let's now show you some of the integration. So I'm gonna go back to the Slido main page, and Renee was asking about, or Amanda was asking about integrations. So if I go to product integrations, Slido can be integrated into different platforms that you might already be using: WebEx, PowerPoint, Microsoft Teams, Google Slides. I went ahead and tested it on Microsoft Teams and then PowerPoint. I was having trouble with, like, I think our restrictions. Oh, it was Tasha. But I was able to get it to work with PowerPoint. So if you wanted to use it on PowerPoint, what you would do is you would download this application. It's 140 megabytes, and go ahead and install it. I've already installed it, and so I'm going to open it up and show you how it works here. I'm going to open up a new presentation. So here's, once you install it, it installs as an add-in, and it should come up right here. If you have any problems installing it, just give me a call and we'll figure it out. Once you install it, it will open up a new page here. It's a little slow, and I think it's actually in beta. So that's something to keep in mind, that it might not work as well as you would hope it to sometimes. So here we have active polls that we've been using today. And I can look at the existing polls that I've created. So, we had this question, why is Utah a perfect place for a superhero? I can integrate it into my PowerPoint presentation here, and I can place it where I want it to come up in my presentation, and then I can press play. So I will go here and I can press from the beginning, and that way I can stay within my PowerPoint presentation and not have to check out whenever I'm going into the polls. Now, personally, I like using the browser because it's a little more control if anything changes. But you have this capacity within your PowerPoint presentation as well, and people can go ahead and answer that. And then when you exit, you know whether you got the or not. Again, I can do it right now. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it says if you want to keep it active or you want to close it. So I'll say, yeah, let's keep it active. So that's some of the integration that you can do with PowerPoint. I would strongly suggest that you test it before, make sure you feel comfortable with it, because in my experience, the integrations between MS Teams and PowerPoints don't seem to be working as well as the actual browser.
And
now,
Eddie, Andrea made the comment, a very great comment, to make sure that you check with your IT before you download any programs. So just check with them ahead of time.
Now, yeah, certainly, because I personally couldn't get an MS Teams to work on our end, but it might be part of our kind of some of the restrictions that we have around using them as well. So I couldn't demonstrate that for you today. Now I'm going to stop this poll. We have about a few minutes remaining. Does anybody have any questions for myself that you can add to the Slido, and then we can try to answer them even today or tomorrow?
Eddie, we have a comment in the chat from Tasha that says we've used Mentimeter, which seems similar and has worked well in PowerPoint.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I know that Amanda has mentioned another one called AnyPoll, or I forget the name of it right now. Yeah, and this is we've been showing you the free features. There's some additional control that you could use if you have the paid version, but the free feature has has made it so that we can make 3 polls. One thing, while some of you are thinking about your question, one consideration if you are using this is that you can only have 3 polls that are active. If I wanted to add a 4th one, I'm going to have a restriction because that's how much I can do for the free version. So what you can do is just delete one of these, and then now you can create a new poll.
Eddie, Andrea mentioned also Kahoot is one that some managers have used before.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we were going to also demonstrate that one, but we decided to just pick this one. Are any of you going to try to use this?
It's Catherine Schaefer.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I was just wondering, I'm trying to view this during my lunch break, so I'm on my phone. And I was wondering when you integrated it into the PowerPoint, if the QR code popped up for that poll, because all I saw was the responses, but would that be a way that we could share it as part of the PowerPoint, is that the QR code comes up, or do we have to add that to that slide separately?
It actually comes up as part of it. What you're seeing in your PowerPoint is going to look like this.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, it'll look like this, and it'll look like this. So the QR code will be on the left side, so they can just take a picture of that QR code. You can also you can also now that we're talking about that, you can also share the QR code or download it. So you can actually take that QR code and place it somewhere. So if you wanted to do a big picture, like a big poster size of this QR code, you can place it somewhere in your room, so you can just use it once your poll is active. And you can create these in advance, so you don't. If you have an idea of like, if you have an idea how you want to use it, you can create it in advance. Well, I know that I'm up to time. If you have any more questions, I am always happy to answer them and clarify. I hope this was helpful to all of you today.
Great, thank you so much, Eddie. We appreciate everyone's participation, and polling, just as a reminder, is a fantastic way to create engagement. And if you have any ideas about Tech Talks that you'd like to share, feel free to reach out to Eddie at eduardo.zamora@hsc.utah.edu. Remember that all of our Tech Talks and webinar recordings are available at NEDARC.org. You can check out great topics that have to do with Tableau dashboards, CLEMS, and so much more. We really try to create a variety for you all. So with that, if any of you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to your NEDARC TA or to Eddie directly about this topic. And we'll look forward to seeing you all next month. Everyone have a great day today, and we'll be in touch soon.
See y'all soon. Thank you.